Even then, in the midst of the mess and the mess that he made for himself, David did the best thing that you can do. 2 Samuel 12:13. David finally came clean. He said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. Whether you catch yourself or you get caught, the best stop to the mess is to come clean. To come clean. And really, Psalm 51 is the song that David writes in this time that shows us how to come clean. Let's flip back over to Psalm 51, and we just kind of hear his prayer. In verses 1 through 2, he's saying, please God, please forgive me. That's what I need. I need your forgiveness. Please have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to the safety net of your great compassion. Blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. He's saying, please, God, forgive me. Forgive my sins. Forgive my transgressions. And then he wants God to know that he knows, that he acknowledges his sin. He says, for I know, in verses 3 through 6, for I know my transgressions, and my sin is always before me. Even when I'm trying to hide it, it's right there facing me, because I'm even trying to hide it. Against you, God, you only have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight. Not saying that I did not. He knows he sinned against Uriah. He knows he sins against Bathsheba. He knows he sinned against his people. He knows that he has sinned against others. But you see, when you sin against others and even sin against yourself, you are sinning against God. And so he really takes it to who he knows truly and ultimately he has sinned against, and that is God. I have done what is evil in your sight, so that you are proved right. When you speak to my sin, you're right. You are justified when you judge my sin. Surely I have not just been a sinner in this situation, but I have been a sinner from birth. Sinful from the time my mother conceived me. Surely you desire truth in the inner parts, and I let you down. You teach me wisdom in the inmost places, and I did not follow that wisdom. He's saying, I am sinful, and I am a sinner. I am guilty, and I feel dirty. He's admitting that. He's acknowledging his sin. And in verses 7 through 10, though, he says, I feel so dirty, but I want to feel clean again. Cleanse me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness again in my life. Let the bones you have crushed, God, rejoice again in my life. Hide your face from all my sins, and blot out all my iniquity. Create in me a clean heart, a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me from your presence or take your Holy Spirit from me, but create in me a clean heart. Cleanse me. I want to feel clean again. And even from there, he even goes on. He says, I want you, God, not just cleanse me of my sin and feel clean again. I want you to redeem this for good. The good of you, the good of myself, the good of others. Look where he goes in verses 12 through 15. He says, please God, restore to me the joy of your salvation, because I've been a wreck and the joy has not been there. Grant me a willing spirit to sustain me through the mess. Because if you can get me through this, if you can forgive me, I tell you what, there will be a new start. Then I will teach transgressors your ways and not to follow after my dumb ways. Sinners will turn back to you because I will tell them, don't go my way, but go God's way. Save me from blood guilt, O God, the God who saves me, and my tongue will sing of your righteousness. Lord, open my lips, save me, and my mouth will declare your praise. If you get me out of this, if you get me through this, if you forgive me through this, Lord, please, God, I will teach others. It will be to the praise of you, not to the praise of me. I want you, God, to redeem this mess that is all on me, that I made. I want you to redeem this mess for good, for your praise, and also for my good and for the good of others. God, I am broken. Please, only you can build me back up. We see that in verses 16 through 19. He says, God, you do not delight in sacrifice for these sins that I've committed. I know this is against your heart. Otherwise, I would bring it. If it was just a technical sacrifice, I would bring it. You don't take pleasure in burnt offerings just for burnt offering's sake. For this sin that I've committed and these sins I've committed. No, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. Oh God, you will not despise. You are a loving God. My heart is broken. And remember, when he thinks of Zion and Jerusalem, it really is an extension of himself. So he's really saying here, please God, I'm broken. Build me, build us back up. Don't just leave us down in the dirt. In your good pleasure, make Zion, make us prosper again. Build up the walls of Jerusalem that I even have torn down by my own sin. Build up the walls that have torn down in me, so that then there will be righteous sacrifices in the city of David again. Whole burnt offerings to delight you. Then bulls will be offered on your altar again. That there will be, that my life and my city, this place, our place, will be a place of righteous sacrifices again. Until you send the sacrifice to fulfill and end all sacrifices. If we learn anything from this psalm, we learn this, that you talk to God in the worst of messes because he cares more than anybody cares. He forgives more than anybody forgives, and he is powerful more than anyone is powerful. And you also walk with God through the mess. You don't give up in it. You walk with God through the mess because he is the one who restores and redeems. It's what David finally did. If you go back to 2 Samuel 12, let's go back to verse 13. Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan replied, the Lord has taken away your sin. Isn't that so good to know that as soon as he asks forgiveness, as soon as he acknowledges it, the Lord has taken away your sin. That forgiveness is so quick there from the Lord. But there are going to be consequences. You're not going to die. But because by doing this you have made the enemies of the Lord show utter contempt, the son born to you will die. And after Nathan had gone home, the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had borne to David, and he became ill. And David went into prayer in the mess and pleaded with God for the child because he knew this was on him. He fasted. He went into his house. He spent the nights lying on the ground. The elders of his household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused. He would not eat any food with them. He was just praying that God would do something. And that's why you talk to God in the mess, because he cares for you in the mess. He forgives you in the mess, and he's also the one who's all powerful to do anything that you know needs to be done, that you want to be done in the mess. But he also walks with God through the mess. And there is a mess because that baby does end up dying. David got up from the ground at that point, realizing the baby was dead. And after he had washed, he put on lotions and changed his clothes. He went into the house of the Lord and he worshiped him. Then he went to his own house, and at his request, they served him food and he ate. His servants asked him, "Why are you acting this way? While the child was alive, you fasted and you wept, but now that the child is dead, you get up and you eat." And he answered this way, "While the child was still alive, I fasted and I wept. I thought, who knows? The all-powerful Lord may be gracious to me and let the child live. So I prayed in the midst of the mess. But now that he is dead, can I bring him back again? Why should I fast now? No, I can't bring him back again. Oh, I'll go to him and I'll go to him plenty, but he will not return to me." He walked with God even through the mess because we have a God who restores and redeems. And then David comforted his wife Bathsheba, probably letting her know, "Look, it's not on you, this is on me." And he went to her and lay with her, and she gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon, a name that you'll hear many times. See, we have a God who does restore and redeem even beyond our messes. You have a good God. He loves you. He is powerful. He restores, he redeems, and he forgives. So what mess is it that you were in? What mess are you in now? What mess of sin will you ever face? Come clean. Talk to God in it, saying things like David would have said, "Please, God, forgive me. I am sinful and a sinner. I am guilty and I feel dirty, but I want to feel clean again, and I know you can. I want you to redeem this mess for your good, for my good, for the good of others, and I know that you can. I am broken. Please, God, build me back up. And I'll walk with you through all the mess because you restore and you redeem."